Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties with ticketing in the first one and then not being able to connect. But we are here with Heartbeat UK versus Bad Touch, and we have an advantage really because we can just burst straight into already a half-done draft. You can see very peculiar bans compared to what we're used to, 6.83, particularly on the side of Heartbeat, going ahead and banning out some of those bigger pains nowadays like the Lena, the Tusk, and the Axe. Lena and Axe a little bit like the 6.83, but by no means the first go-to bans. You've got the Juggernaut, the Sniper, the Troll, etc. None of which have shown their face so far. And then on the side of Bad Touch, you've got Silencer, you've got Queen of Pain, Slock, and Shadow Friend, who, they're all sort of remnants from the 6.83 meta, but they're definitely not the figureheads of the big problem. There's the Sniper, now he makes an appearance, but even so, a fourth ban Sniper, it shows how far we've come. Let's have a look at the picks. A nice standard Witch Doctor and Bristleback coming out from Heartbeat UK. Not too much to say with that. They do have the possibility of running the Witch Doctor Void combination. That is still very strong indeed. And Bristleback is just overall a very nice tank to have on your team. I think lots of people are a big fan of running him. He's nice and simple. And it's sort of the same story on the side of Bad Touch, always going with the support off lane as well. We've got the Vengeful Spirit and the Tide Hunter, and there's the Dazzle pickup from Heartbeat UK, which makes that Axe ban even more sensible, as it is one of the only spells in the game that can go through this shallow grave. Though of course, Ancient Apparition is still in the pool, and with the Vengeful Spirit, it can be a very strong support, particularly when you factor in the fact that Tide Hunter's there as well, and Ravage could keep them there long enough to land a decent Ice Blast on some of the core heroes, because if you want to throw it and land it in the amount of time it takes for them to remain stunned, you're not going to be far enough away to get a decent radius on the blast. You're going to have to focus one or two core heroes to bring them down instead. But hey, it's still good. But by no means the only option. So now that we've seen the two offlaners, we're not going to be seeing anything a little bit crazy like the Centaur, Aghanim Scepter, etc., which lets people just run all over the map and cause haywire everywhere. But there's still some decent pickups that could be done. And we'll have to see whether they want to go with something a little bit unique. We're getting the Omni Knight pickup. Again, very strong support, going to be doing a lot in the fights, particularly against physical damage like the Witch Doctor brings out. And if Omni Knight's able to farm up an Aghanim Scepter at some point, if this game goes late enough, he's going to be able to do this globally. So even if Heartbeat went ahead and picked up the Void and they're using this combo on the other side of the map, Omni Knight can still be there in spirit and make sure that the guy at least has a chance of getting out alive. Looking at it from a different angle though, Heartbeat have yet to pick up their carry. They could go with someone like the PL or the Spectre, who likes to build a Diffusal Blade naturally, and then they could just use that against anyone that the Omni Knight repels or uses the Guardian Angel on, and they can bring down someone pretty quickly with that. Diffusal is hugely important against an Omni, but again there's issues with the fact it only has 8 charges. It's best to use it only if you're sure the kill is worth it and if you're guaranteed to get it. And with Avenge, you might not be guaranteed to get it. She can always swap someone out. Tidehunter's there as well to cause some problems with the Ravage. It's a difficult team to be really sure that the kill's guaranteed with. It'll come down to how well Heartbeat controlling the fight. And there's the Spectre pickup, so, like I said, does have the ability to go for the Diffusal Blade, though I imagine the ideal scenario here for Heartbeat is that she's able to go ahead, farm up that Radiance, which is now insanely strong. It was good already. It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's 100 gold more, but you get a 17% miss chance on anyone within the Radiance aura. It's very strong indeed, especially against supports and the Bristleback. Anyone but the cores, really, who won't naturally build an MKB like the PA might. She can be pretty strong, nice crit. Going to be doing a lot of work against the squishier heroes. And it does mean that Dazzle's going to have some difficulty, because there's always that problem that you don't know when a crit's going to come. So if you want to commit a shallow grave to somebody, and PA is going on to them and just critting them all the time, she could crit them from half health and kill them. And then Dazzle might not have put the shallow grave on because he simply doesn't want to waste it. It definitely makes things harder for them. get the Death Prophet ban as well. She's also had a nice boost in her ultimate ability. So I can get behind that ban, and you can see that Bad Touch currently do have a scary amount of team fight just with the Tidehunter and the Omni. It's more defensive than aggressive, though the Tidehunter can work in both ways, of course. But it lets them stay in the fight for very, very long and do a lot of damage. So anyone like the Death Prophet who benefits the later the fight goes and the longer they're just in this insane ultimate ability is a great ban out. And we're also seeing the ban on the Leshrac, who I imagine Bad Touch were expecting to go middle lane. I haven't seen too much mid Leshrac so far, but people are very much still experimenting with 6.84. I tend to see him more in the core role, going for an early Octarine core, and see how that works out. And it seems to work out fairly well in general. But hey, like I say, people are still figuring it out. You're never quite sure what's going to work. Does look like both teams are after their mids. They're pretty easy to read lineups, really, and that's okay because both sides have got the guys that have to work in conjunction together. They've got the offlaners, so Bad Touch have got a slight advantage because Heartbeat are picking their mid into Bad Touches. They can counter this with someone, say a Viper, who's very strong at harassing the Zeus, but that being said, Zeus is very strong currently. Okay, we get the Magnus pickup. That could do some work. If they get an early enough blink and they get a 3 or 4 man RP, I'd say the 5 man, but I never quite call a 5 man coming just in case. But a 3 or 4 man RP, even the purification from Omni Knight can do a large amount of damage and have a massive effect of a team fight. Then you have to factor in issues like if PAs manage to come in and get a couple of crits. Even if she doesn't have a Battle Fury, you can use the Magnus second, I think it's called Empower, I've completely forgotten, but the ball hands, and she can just go mad on their asses and really cut them all up. Just waiting on Venge to be picked up. Bad Touch doing a little bit of last minute strategizing, and that's allowed. There's nothing wrong with saving your time. Okay, and we are in the game, so running through the teams, on Heartbreakers playing on the Dire, we have got X playing that Zeus. Rickus is bringing up the Bristleback. Duboy is bringing out Dazzle. We've got Seto, the captain, on Spectre. And we have got the Tippy on the Witch Doctor. And on the side of Bad Touch, we have got the Knob playing on the Tidehunter. We've got Rusrog on the Magnus. Ducky's playing that Omni Knight. We've got Iris on the Vengeful Spirit. And the PA with the Arcane are going to be picked up by Phoenix. Looks like both teams pretty happy to run standard tri-lanes here. The good luck calls come out. And we do have the smoke on Duboy. Not sure how well they could go for an initial smoke at level 1. They've got decent damage with the cask, but you can see they've already leveled up Maledict, which is something I don't see very much on the first level Witch Doctor. I guess it could do work with the Zeus spam ability and the damage he can bring out. But I don't see their first blood potential as incredibly high with this. That being said, the cask is only as viable as how many people come to contest the rune. And if there's only one person here, like Iris looks to be the sole one right now, cask is going to do very little. Phoenix going to get this bounty rune down bottom uncontested. It is up top where all the action is happening, and Rusrog's going in pretty deep here. Going to try and get this bounty rune, risking a lot to do it. Does manage to get it, and they're not going to be able to bring him down. Would have been a nice chance for the cask if they had it when they coupled together here, but again, I don't know how much damage and how much of an impact it would have made anyway. But it is both bounty runes going the way of Bad Touch, and that is a very good start for them. It doesn't look like much, that 300 gold advantage and 200 experience, but it is. It can make a huge difference. I think the last statistics I saw was it's between a 58 and 68% win chance, depending what side you're on, when you pick up the bounty rune. So it's a great start to have. There's the Maledict, and it is doing a fair amount of damage to Ducky. They also throw the Splurge on Duboy. But yeah, he's going to be alright. He's got heals and he can fight through it. Notice that Bad Touch have gone for dual lanes with the Vengeful Spirit and the PA down bottom. Venge trying to harass out Rickus. Not going to work too well. Bristleback is pretty tanky. And up top, we've got the Tidehunter being backed up by the Omni Knight. It is a two-man melee lane, which I don't think is the greatest for them, really. Particularly when you're against the Witch Doctor, who's very good at harassing, because he's got pretty decent base attack, for a support especially. I've also got sustainability from the Dazzle, so they're not going to be making any kills in this lane. I think it may have been better to send this Tidehunter up here alone and try and grab early levels, because then he can go for the Kraken Shell, and he can benefit a lot more from just being able to stay in lane and take the harass as much as possible. As it stands, they're going to be draining levels away from the Tidehunter for the Omni Knight to pick him up. But hey, down bottom, PA is going to be able to pick up more for her. So, it's a balancing act. Meanwhile, down middle, we got Zeus leading the terms of the CS, followed by the Spectre. He's sitting on 8, and both going top for this rune, both sitting on bottles. Zeus needs it a little bit more. Nice skewer from the Magnus to secure it, and is going to deny that Zeus. Here comes the Shockwave, very nice immortal effect. He's going to get out alive. Meanwhile, up top, the Knob is getting gone on, but he's going to be okay. Tidehunter is a pretty tanky dude, even with that 1 level in Kraken. Bench has also picked up some sentry wards, so may be able to de-ward. Don't forget that with the Zeus on the side of Heartbeat, it's going to be much harder for Bad Touch to maintain map control in terms of vision, just due to the fact that he can obviously use his True Sight abilities on his spell to de-ward. Looks like we may be seeing a rotation leaving Phoenix down bottom to go against Rickus. I don't know how well this will go, because Rickus, as the Bristleback, can man up pretty easily. It's probably a mistake to leave these two alone just trading punches, but it is the smoke from Venge. They're looking to secure first blood, and if she can get this relatively early, they'll be alright. She's hanging pretty high up. We've also got boots coming out now on Zeus, who's going to be that little bit harder to burst down. I don't think they saw the smoke. It was done around this area, and their ward is up here, so probably not. But X is playing it relatively safe. An Observer ward coming up to the Omni Knight. It's currently sitting on 2. It's not a great position for Bad Touch to be in this early on. The PA falling slightly behind on CS to the Bristle and the Spectre, but it's not fatal. It's only a couple of CS they're behind. And at this early level of the state of the game, things can change very quickly. And speaking of which, here comes the cask. The repel and a bad bit of RNG may get the Knob out alive here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be just fine. Unfortunately for them, the cask, instead of bouncing onto the Omni Knight who was right next to him, went ahead and bounced onto the neutral creeps. So, not ideal for them. They may have been able to pick up the kill onto Ducky, but once again, it's not affecting Seto's farm. He's doing just fine at the moment. Zeus gone down, affected by DD. You can see that Vengeful Spirit didn't have much success with that smoke gank. Going to be heading back bottom to try and help the PA, who is still having a bit of a tough time. Having a look at the levels, Magnus and PA leading, followed by the Bristle. Here comes the cask. Ducky once again in a tough spot. He has to choose who to put this repel on, and he goes for himself. The Knob is a little bit lower, but again, he's got that Kraken Shell. He's a little bit tankier. Ducky's still taking large amounts of damage, however, and the Knob manning up and going in, using that Anchor Smash to do some harassing. Okay, so here's what Bad Touch should do, at least in my opinion. Rotate Ducky out and every now and again, and get these stacks on the Ancient Camp here for Tidehunter to do later on, and get a decent time on his Blink Dagger. Because if this game goes late, I don't know how well it works out for Bad Touch. The Spectre with a Radiance and other big items like the Diffusal will do a large amount of work against the team of BT. HBX just walking back to base. Aquila now built onto Phoenix. And again up top, Tidehunter taking high amounts of damage, being backed up by the Ducky. That's kind of the risk. Do you want to get the chance of giving him more gold and more experience by stacking these Ancients? Or do you just want to ensure that he doesn't die? Because you've got to remember that first blood, it's always up for grabs. Again, we're seeing a clash for this bottom room. Skewer is available once again, But Rusrock is high health. They put him onto the cliff, but he gets caught up there with him. This isn't good. He is going to fall here just through a couple of right clicks. A slight misplay. Didn't work out his way. 6 minutes in, they've still got a walking courier. Not a massive deal. He should be able to get the TP from the courier here, just naturally. But it would definitely be helpful if they were able to upgrade it. Neither of the supports sitting on the gold for that just yet. Witch Doctor's hanging around. Gonna try and get him out, and we should see the old TP trick here. Courier should go here and use the transfer items. Which one is it? That's the one, the very last one I go on, of course. The transfer items to pick up the TP, but they just upgrade the courier. And it was about time that happened anyway, so just fine for Heartbeat, considering it was First Blood. And Magnus hasn't really gained that much, the same level as the Zeus. Zeus TP's back to base as well, so he gets a little bit of regen, and his bottle gets refilled. I felt like the Witch Doctor picked up that bounty as well, so neither of the mids actually getting it after all of that. Bristleback and Spectre still leading the CS. And again, we've got Phoenix just dragging behind. Only slightly. We haven't seen many rotations, or any rotations really, from the middle lane just yet, which has surprised me. Here comes the cask. Again, pretty nice RNG for the Tippy this time. Has done some damage, and they are trying to burst him down with the Zeus, but the bottle is saving Magnus's life here. Without bottle charges, the Thunder God's Wrath would have done a lot of work there with the Maledict. Probably brought him down, but you don't want to waste that ultimate if you don't have to. We've got Invis on the Vengeful Spirit. They'll be looking to make something pretty decent happen soon. And a haste rune. That is like Christmas, but she doesn't want to pick it up just in case there's observer wards there. They're going to go ahead and let Magnus bottle it as well, which will allow for more gank ability. We have got Rickus chasing down Phoenix. I don't know how deep he can go here. Phoenix deciding to man up onto Rickus, sending out those daggers. Rickus decides to face him, which isn't the greatest decision on a Bristleback. But Phoenix falling low. Quill Spray is strong. Here comes Rusrock, going to try and bring this guy down. PA did fall to the Bristleback here just from the Quills, and there's the stun, picking it up on Vengeful Spirit. Just a tad ambitious on the PA. Makes it a fairly good trade for Heartbeat, in all honesty. Losing the offlaner for the core position, I'd take that trade. Especially when the support is the one to pick up the kill onto your offlaner. They can do less with the net worth. Wards are nice and everything, but they're not going to have quite as much impact as a really decent item. Say something new like even the Solar Crest coming out onto Bristle. He's already got the medallion, so definitely a possibility. Here comes the cask onto Ducky. He does have repel and he commits it now, but he's low health. They could beat him down, but the Knob is here to make sure it doesn't happen. He's going to town onto Tippy, throws out that gush. Thunder God's Wrath as well. They do bring down the Omni Knight, timed it so that he fell as the repel wore off. And that's why you don't want to use Thunder God's Wrath without knowing there's a kill. Unless you're in a big team fight, then it can be just fine. Magnus is nowhere near his Blink Dagger, and Tidehunter, how's he doing? Pretty much the same. Neither of these heroes that really need these items making a lot of impact to getting them just yet, though 10 minutes in you can't really expect it from the Tide. You could start to expect it from the Magnus, but he has been picked up once. Of course by the Zeus, after the misfortune of the cliff. Rickus still hanging about down mid. Rusrock still trying to maintain the ward control or the rune control. And Sarah's gone for phase boot, so we're not seeing the Radiance rush here. Interesting to see whether they'll favour the Radiance or go for the Diffusal Blade as the first item. I would say if you're going to go for Radiance, you've got to go for it first, just because of how much viable it is early game, and the sooner you get it, the easier it is to farm, and the more money you can get, the quicker. Whereas if you build a Diffusal Blade, you can always pick it up after the Radiance. It also comes down to personal preference, though. Dazzle doing some stacks. As is the Witch Doctor. This seems to suggest they want the Radiance. Going to be blocked out by this ward on this side. And the Ravage comes out onto Seto. There's the heal as well. They bring down the Spectre. They recognise that the supports were not there. And now, all of a sudden, the one failed stack and the stack that has been done. In fact, this one failed as well. But the stack that has been done here, it's just not worth it. No way near. That time it was Tidehunter being able to pick it up, so that's good. The swap comes out onto Phoenix. It's a very small swap, but it might have been all that was needed. Rickus not going to dive that deep just yet. Needs a little bit more tankability before he does that. HPX and Rustrog still maintaining this slogfest in the middle lane. Getting the 4 staff coming out on Zeus, 700 gold away from that at the moment. Cask bounces onto the Knob. They also see Dusky. They miss the Maledict. He throws a Repel onto himself. They could go onto the Knob now, but it's still difficult to bring this guy down, though they know that the Ravage isn't available. And Rickus decides to head back to base. Rustrog going to go ahead and pick up a regen. The interesting thing about these heroes is the fact that Magnus can have an effect, and he's going to smoke up and go top now by the looks of it. As they get the Maledict and the Cask bouncing onto the Knob, I think this guy is dead. There's the Thunder God's Wrath. They do have the Repel. Here comes the RP. Catches all 3 of them. They don't have the Skewer. They don't have heal either. Here comes the Haunt. The Shallow Grave comes out onto Seto. Tippy taking a large amount of damage. The boy is still in the outskirts of the fight, trying to survive, trying to bring down the Knob. They'll have Quill Spray to pick him up. The boy on the retreat. Rick is going to try and take place. He gets the double kill, but he's also blocking the Dazzle. It could be a triple kill here, though, for Rick. It's going to be a nice easy one with these quills. They also had the Zeus there to make sure it happened. It almost looked like a turnaround for BT, but Heartbeat's responses were just on time to make the difference. And the big deal, they got Seto out alive. If he fell again, that would have been horrible, because my god, if he's going for this Radiance, and it looks like he is, sitting on this gold, another death would have set him back so much. As it stands, he did okay. And again, it's all about delaying the blink daggers on these bigger heroes like the Tidehunter and the Magnus. You saw the RP, it made a big impact, but without the blink dagger, you have to use Skewer to get into position, and it means you can't skewer the heroes back to your guys, back into where the damage is. And it has a large effect, as Rickus, once again, mans up onto Phoenix, has picked up the Solar Crest as well, so this is going to be a nice, easy kill. Wasn't able to blink to anything. Rosros goes in, but Rickus again just going to man up. He has no need not to. Solar Crest is once again available as well. He can dive this tower all the live long day, really giving chase here. There is the second kill with help from Zeus, and it could be another triple. Stun comes out, but look at the damage Rickus is bringing out here. They also get the Cask. It's going to be a nice kill. They use the Witch Doctor ultimate, which I don't think they should have done. But hey, at least he gets some gold. And I suppose if you want to argue on the side of the Tippy, Rickus was falling a little bit low. It was scary to dive that tower. 1 or 2 more rotations could have boned him, but I don't think you want to rotate into someone who's already picked up a triple kill on that lane and has got a large amount of Warpath stacks already available. They get the deny, though. So there's no question about it that Heartbeat will be in firm control of the game in terms of momentum. We've got a 4k gold advantage, and same for experience at the moment as we enter the 15-minute mark. But again, that's not fatal. One thing you do need to concern yourself about is this Spectre Zeus strategy that they've got going on. This is something that my own team likes to run quite a bit, and it can work fairly well. The ability to get vision with the Zeus ultimate, or use it as a follow-up to the Spectre Horn, either way works incredibly well. It secures a lot of kills. And either of those heroes can do with kills being secured for them, so it's not a bad thing. They do have the smoke up and they check Roshan. I don't think Heartbeat are too concerned about Roshan. They're more worried about potentially losing it than taking it at the moment. Their main focus will be on just ensuring the farm for Seto. And I'd say that should be Bad Touch's big concern as well, trying to make sure that Seto doesn't get this farm that he desperately needs. They did do okay with it at the earlier parts of the game, but their last rotation didn't work out as they'd hoped. So we'll have to see as it progresses. They do see Tippy. He gets a nice cast going between Ducky and Rustrog. He's also using those stacks. RP is available. There's the Guardian Angel and the Ravage comes out. There's the RP. Cast bounced once more, but the heal comes out, does a large amount of damage for a double kill. Rikus on the retreat. They should let this guy get out alive, because otherwise he's going to kill you all. There's the double kill for him. He could get another Quill Spray. He's giving chase. Can he go for more here? Phoenix is trying to hit him, but they've got that Solar Crest on him as well as the Weave. He's doing so much damage. I think he should just man up and go for it here. Why the hell not? They managed to bring down one. It's going to be a complete team wipe. They just need a couple more clicks. The mischance on Blur is doing quite a bit of work here for the Phoenix, but here comes the Haunt. Is Spectre going to use it? Yes, he is. There's the Spectre Dagger. Zeus picks it up with the Force Staff. It's a complete wipe in favour of Heartbeat. A fairly long fight, but well worth for the current leaders of the game, taking that lead even further into their favour. And it's time to look at items. So what are we seeing in terms of itemization? Well, the Magnus still has very, very little. Same can be said for Tidehunter. Again, both of them pretty desperate for their Blink Daggers pretty soon, otherwise they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And on the other side, on the side of Heartbeat, you have got a lot coming out. Even the Dazzle being able to get his Arcane Boots and keep up with the Warding alone is doing a lot of work. Witch Doctor has gone ahead and picked up that urn. You've also got the Force Staff on the Zeus, and the Solar Crest and the Vanguard on the Bristleback. 21 armor, 17 minutes into the game, he is currently holding. That is a nice position to be in, and you can see how much it's paid off with his dive potential and the amount of kills it's picked up. Meanwhile, up top, Seto brings down the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor picks up the Omni Knight. I saw the Death Ward, I saw the text, and my mind just assumed that something had happened. The Omni Knight, of course, died. And Witch Doctor got the kill. He can now afford his Arcane Boots, if that is indeed what he's going for. I think it should be. One thing I'd like to see from Heartbeat now is more aggressive warding. Try and force their way into this jungle. Although Bad Touch aren't using it too much, you can see Phoenix is starting to rotate in there. Has very little items, hasn't been able to pick up a Battle Fury yet, or even really any parts of the Battle Fury if that is what they're going for. It's going to be tough. You do have to remember that they don't need to worry about it too much because Empower is available. And that does give a cleave. Middle lane. 4 people. This could be to push the tier 1, but it could also be a bluff to Force Staff comes in. Skewer comes back as well. RP available. There it is. Ravage is also available. Here it comes out doing large amounts of damage. They get the Shallow Grave onto Rikus. He's a godlike spree, and he looks like he wants to go beyond, taking down lots of people. That's a double kill for him for the beyond godlike. Again, the RP not paying off. Ravage used once more to no effect. They brought down the Zeus. It was a dominating spree, but it went to the Venge. That's not going to help the Tidehunter or the Magnus in their current situation. Although, looking at Tidehunter, he's 25 from his blink. He has got it. It's cost them a lot to get to that point, though. And as great as that is, I'd still say the Blink Dagger is more important on the Magnus. The Ravage is more of a follow-up ability to the RP. But we'll have to see how it develops. It is definitely a core item either way. So in terms of last hits, we're not seeing any exceptional amounts of CS coming out. 76 on the Phoenix 20 minutes in and 80 on the Spectre, who is pretty close to that Sacred Relic now. Has got 6 assists. Unfortunately for Seto, hasn't been able to pick up any kills with the Haunt, but even just being able to get into the assist area and pick up some side effect gold is nice. Rustrog could be in trouble here. The Tippy and Rikus going on him. He does have that skewer for the escape. Here it comes. Cask and Goo comes out as well, though. And Rikus looks like he wants to chase this. Yeah, he's changed his mind. Meanwhile, up top, Ducky with that repel forces lots of TPs out. I think he's going to TP here. This could be a slight misplay. Yep, there he is. It was a moment of panic, but the Nob is there to help him. And he says, relax, you're doing fine. Phoenix picking up the Morbid Mask. Could go for the Vlads. I think I quite like the Vlads here, to be honest. They've got quite a few melee heroes, and even their ranged one can benefit from it a little bit. It's a 10% lifesteal percentage on the range now, and 25% on the melee. So it has become a better item. But again, they could go for the Morbid Mask and just try and survive a little bit longer or deal more damage out. It's up to them which one they favour. There's the Blink Dagger on the Magnus. He farmed that fairly quickly. Last time I checked, he had a grand. So I don't know if that's actually a bug that I've just seen, because he's currently still sitting on the gold. Oh, he's bought it and sold it, and he's going to buy it from the side shop. That's what's happening. There we go. Just playing mind games with the casters there. We have a 4-man smoke. Where are they going? They're in between the Magnus and the PA, though they don't know that Phoenix is there, and they've split up. Not the greatest decision. Rikus has been revealed. Pinks are coming out from the Venge. They know he's there. But it does mean that Rusrog was relatively unprepared for this. Gets cast up, does have skewer available. He's going out. He's going to try and TP this away by the looks of it. I don't know how he's going to do this. He waited far too long, and he falls. Maybe he gets out if he tries to TP as soon as he got into this area. But maybe not. Tier 1 takes some damage in exchange of the Magnus's life, and here come the TPs. They decide to let Rikus go in first, a very strong decision. He pops the Crimson God, only gets himself though because of it. The weave comes out onto 2 of them, and who do they want to go on? It looks like Iris is going to be their victim here. Going to go for that TP away, and no one with a stun is near. They do get the Zeus 4-staff in to pick it up though. And the Haunt comes out. More of a check than anything else, I would imagine. The Nob is not low at all, so yeah, that was just a cheeky little Haunt to see if they can pick anything out. And they couldn't. Seto working towards that Radiance recipe. We get the push onto the tier 1. We have Tidehunter here, Ravage on cooldown. Magnus is available with the RP and the Blink Dagger. They do have that moment of surprise. They don't know this Blink Dagger is ready to go. They jump in onto Rikus. Heals come out, as do daggers. I don't think they should take this fight. I can't imagine it going too well for them. If they want to go, they need this Ravage up. They've already lost so much, and even then, I don't know how it works out for them. Putting the Empower onto the PA is a great start, though. And they're going on to Rikus here. They're going to skewer him right back. The Weave is there, as is the Thunder God Draft. They commit a 1-man RP, and here comes the Deathwood with the cask bouncing about. Charlotte comes on to Rikus. They are getting wrecked right now. Iris is so close to death and doesn't get out. It's a complete wipe, once again, in favour of Heartbeat. And once again, it happened very quickly. And this time, Seto wasn't involved at all, which works out quite well for them. When you're running a 4 protect 1 strategy, and your 4 are winning the fights alone, and not just winning them, convincingly winning them at that, you're having a great time. And it really pushes home your advantage. A 10k net worth advantage, 12k experience. If Heartbeat maintain this this momentum, it's going to be the classic position of the Spectre finally getting available to come in, finally finishing farming, and then the Ancient falls as soon as she picks up those items. Radiance, now built. Not the greatest Radiance time in the world. Did get shut down with that initial kill, but has been able to have a lot of space created for them by the rest of the team, so it's worked out pretty well overall. And against Bad Touch, it's going to do a lot of work. The Omni Knight will suffer because of it, as will the Venge, even the PA. And you've got to bear in mind that mischance. PA going for the Helm of the Dominator. Are they using that for stacking? Doesn't look like it. That's a mistake. They need to do stacking. If not for the PA, just for the Tidehunter, it can be such a big boon to the farm. Radiant's now up on Seto. Still pretty squishy, but again, that's where the mischance comes into helpful. Nice wards from Heartbeat. This is what I was talking about earlier with this aggressive vision. This is quite a common smoke spot as well, particularly if you're looking at fighting Roche or trying to pick it up yourself. Being able to spot this out is a huge advantage for Heartbeat. Though Iris is still sitting onto the sentry wards. So it's time to Fury Craft onto Seto's next item. They could go for the Mana Style, something like that. I feel like Diffusal is still a strong item, but really they don't need to be that concerned of Guardian Angel currently. It's only level 2, so that's what, 7 seconds, and all that time only one person's going to be repelled. They're the only one going to be immune to the Radiance damage. And there is quite a bit of magical damage on Heartbeat with the Zeus, etc., who's now building his Aghanim Scepter, about 1,100 away from that.
Dire's bottom tower is being attacked.
Heartbeat have got a pretty decent draft. They're even going to go for this deny. Sending in a few TPs to make sure it happens. And may even go for a counter push. Bristleback being able to pick up a Sanchin Yasha, even more slow. He is very scary indeed, and it's no surprise he's sitting on top of the net worth. Look at this position that Bad Touch are in. Their free cores below the free cores of Heartbeat, and their supports are below the supports of Heartbeat. You can really see that this graph's just not lying. There's a huge advantage right now in favour of the Dire side. We have the 4-man smoke. Seto, low health, Haunt on cooldown, not going to be in this fight. Whether Heartbeat will be able to pick anything up here, not too sure. Going in, it does get revealed, but I don't think they saw it. They do have a ward. Okay, the RP catches 3 of them. Gonna go for that skewer, but the cast comes out to cancel it. Skewer's also on cooldown. Here comes the Zeus ult. They've got the Crimson Guards going. The Ravage comes off. It catches 3 of them. Crimson Guards still alive, still doing large amounts of protection. They've been able to bring down 1. They're looking for 2. It's still a beyond godlike for Rickus, and they are continuing to chase. 4-star from Dazzle throws out that splurge. The repel comes out onto Ducky. Good fight. All it cost them was the Witch Doctor. You get the Basher. It's a Phoenix now. And Seto is building a Yasha. Remains to see whether it's going into a Diffusal or a Mana Style. Mana Style's probably the right choice. Tier 2 falls. Bad Touch realise they can't fight without the ultimates of the Magnus and the Tidehunter. And the way it's been going, they can't even fight with those ultimates, so they need the perfect team fight to bring them back into this game. Now, rubber banding, it has been nerfed, but it's still there. It's only been reduced, so there is still that potential for Bad Touch to stay in this. And PA can do a lot of damage. Already with 2 levels in coup de grace, doing a pretty decent crit. And this Empower is still having a big effect, saving her from having to go Battle Fury. But that's a good and a bad thing, because it also means that your cleave isn't reliable. Rust Rocket is not always going to be there to put the Empower onto the Phoenix, and while in theory you want to go ahead and drop the Empower onto the PA after the RP has been used, Magnus is going to have a lot on his mind when he's dropping his ultimate and he's using the skewer and then he uses the shockwave on top of it to do more damage.
being attacked.
That's not to say he won't do it, but just a reminder that it can be difficult, and we're looking for a Roshan sneak. They don't have a medallion available on the Venge, and that makes it slightly difficult, but she has maxed out Wave of Terror, so the armor reduction is pretty strong regardless. And with the crits and such, with the empowered damage bonus, they are melting this guy. And Heartbeat, I don't think they're aware. The smoke, I don't think got caught under the Observer Ward, so yeah, they're going to take this Roshan. Whether Heartbeat want to just go in and try and punish them for it now. Nice TP response from Bad Touch. They knew exactly what Heartbeat wanted to do then. That was really well played. Really well played. I was not expecting the coordinated escape then. I really thought they were going to come out in this direction and then get boned by the wall of pain that is Heartbeat's lineup. Okay, so Spectre has gone for that Diffusal Blade on the way via Courier now. Playing slightly conservative, but that's alright. They've got the Crimson Guard going on. The instant repel onto Phoenix was pretty nice. They also have the Force Staff out of there and the Blink. Blink comes out now. Ducky activates his mechanism. They get a slow onto Rickus. He's going to try and burst down Ducky. Does it very quickly with the help of the Zeus. And while I didn't pick up the PA, who was the one they really wanted, Heartbeat were able to at least bring down one. And with the Omni Knight down, without buyback, they can definitely force a fight. It would have been nice for them to pop the PA Aegis, though.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Heartbeat also have the option of taking this fairly late. You can see that they're already cutting off so much from the farm of Bad Touch by taking their jungle, which Seto can do very efficiently thanks to that radius. Phoenix not getting that much. Not getting much at all, and they're dewarding vision, they're getting vision into the base, they are preparing to just drain the life out of Bad Touch. All the while, they're applying pressure onto this tier 3. We have Seto farming and just taking this tier 2 down bottom uncontested. 100% the right decision.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Nice bit of Rat Dota. They are all going to rotate now, just to make sure this does drop. No one able to pick up the tower kill for the extra gold, but that's okay. If you look at the graph, it's not like they need the extra gold right now. 20k advantage in both experience and net worth. Getting a TP out from Spectre. Does have Haunt though, so it's no big deal. Just going to use this time to do some extra bit of farming. Repel comes out onto Ducky. It's got a pretty legit cooldown, so it's not too much of a big deal. We've also got 2 minutes on the Aegis. Everyone just slowly chipping away at this tower. Almost all the ultimates up for BT, but they've got 50 seconds on that Ravage. Nice cast coming out, bouncing between the two supports. There's the Witch Doctor ultimate and the Zeus ultimate. Forces out the Guardian Angel. If they back off now, they can take a really good fight fairly soon. Oh, that Guardian Angel. I don't know, it got the supports out alive, but we're going to have to see how this works out. Here comes the Haunt initiation. They are not scared of the Omni Knight anymore. They are coming in. Radiance melting through everybody. They've got that ultimate as well from the Zeus. We get the buyback from the Magnus straight away. RP still available. And the Blink Dagger going to be up soon. The Radiance doing what it can to keep it on cooldown. They get a nice RP onto 3 of them. Not yet with the Ravage. They skewer them back as well. This could be a big wipe, but they do get the Shallow Grave coming out onto Dubois. And they bring down the Tide Hunter. Only Phoenix left alive. Going to try and get a kill before they fall, but she is going to fall. Doesn't even pick up a kill. This could very well be the game. Buyback only available on the Phantom Assassin. And GG being called. Incredibly well played by Heartbeat. They're going to take the first game 8-34. A huge golden experience lead. 36 minutes into the game. So, this is a best of 2. We will be coming back with the second game.